Oh yeah, I love it as well. He's not just the guy that made Hostel, because he also made Hostel 2 just 2 years later. So with the first Hostel, boom, right there. God damn it, I got to get these things. They need to come out with 4K, and I'll rebuy both of them. But the first one had like a $4-ish million budget, made over $80 million, so it was a massive success. The second one, they over doubled the budget, had like a $10 million budget, and it made like 30 some $1 million, still tripled his budget. It was, at the time, it was said by some people that I read about on the internet, it was the most pirated movie in the history of cinema up till that point. Again, the critics are pretty lukewarm on this. I'm bringing it up only because it's interesting. Rotten Tomato scores even lower. IMDb like 5.5. And I watched this thing after I've heard my buddy Rockin Robbie Billups from Pop Culture Philosophers sing its praises for years and said, this is the better one of these two. And I watched it, and the first thing I remembered is like, oh, I remember this movie fondly, and I really enjoyed it at the time. I definitely remember liking this one a lot. But it's so well written. It's such a clever way. It's like the best thing that they could possibly do for a sequel. To
It
go
really
from the
is.
killer's perspective, the casting on both the killer's side and the victim side is really, really good. They're all, I think, better and more likable characters. Likable, for what they're doing. The gore, again, they totally fucking held back. It's not the super crazy gory movie that you remember it as, but when she rips people's penises off and balls, it's just as gory as you want it to be. So it's got all that, but it's also the same things I was saying for the last one. It's still a really, really smart, well-made movie that came out just 2 years later.
World building, what you just said, right? Not a lot of horror sequels actually do that, right? And they would be better to do it, right? They really would. But sometimes they get bitten. They shoot themselves in the foot with it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 kind of builds out the world a little bit more, right? But it didn't really do very well, right?
Well, what's interesting, if I can just jump in real quick, it's interesting because what I'm like, the way that this kind of took the place of the slasher, it's hard to world build when your whole franchise is focused on a single individual.
Yeah.
That's like it'll just like Saw, the way that they were able to build out the world in that.
And TCM was like a family, right? So in the second one, they get more into this dude's like actual business and that he's like winning awards. There's other siblings and there's a whole methodology to it and shit like that, So I do find this movie very similar to TCM, and as far as like where it takes the story, right? It takes it into a more extravagant way. Eli Roth's intention was, okay, if I'm going to do another one, initially his first idea was, I want it to start at the end of the first movie, a direct continuation, right? He goes, I want it to be Hostel 2, right? And so then he was doing it, and he started with the Jay Hernandez character again, and he just didn't get a good vibe on it. Then he came up with this other idea because he was actually influenced by the Bush administration, like most artists were in this era. This movie came out in 2007. I was 6. I was an adamant anti-Bush head when I still gave a fuck about politics and thought it made a difference. And this is a critique on the Bush administration, which is a kind of a political theme that's in the movie, but it's not on the nose. It's not over the top, but like rich, entitled dudes. Okay, we were talking about the entitled nature of the American travelers in the first one. What about the entitled nature of the Americans with true wealth, right? And also the idea that's in both of these movies is that there are levels of addiction where, and this happens to anything you're super into, it's not good enough. You got to keep going further.
Right.
Sex with your wife isn't good enough. Sex with your partner is not good enough. You got to pay for it, right? So you can do the things that you're afraid to do to your partner, or you got to like do it keeps escalating. Drugs, right? You start smoking some pot. Some people, I'm not saying weed's a gateway drug, but I'll tell you what, after I did weed, I started doing a little bit more drugs. And, it may have taken a while, but,
but I tell you what, you drank a beer before you smoked that weed. Nobody blames the goddamn fucking beer, but the beer is the first gateway drug.
I was into weed before I was into beer.
But it's rare. Yeah. Most people drink that beer first.
Yeah. Weed is a different thing, man. Like I've done recreational usage of drugs and different degrees and of legality. I won't mention it, I guess, but I've never shot heroin or anything. I've never injected anything to me. I can't do that, bro. I can't even like when they have to take blood from me or whatever, I'm just like, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. You know what I'm saying? I'm that fucking dude. I'm such a hemophobe. Like for the movies that I like, it's weird, dude. I do not like seeing my own blood. I'm like fucking Ben Stiller in Dodgeball. You know, no one needs to see my own blood.
Man, I think you said it very well. I thought like watching this today, I was, I thought the same thing. I thought they went and explored so many corners of this universe that they hadn't before, and I thought it was so clever and well done how they did it. I love how it picks up with the Jay Hernandez. We get a quick little conclusion to that story. I love how that starts off. So like,
doesn't that feel very like, sorry to interrupt you, doesn't it feel
ahead.
like very Friday the 13th or old 80s slasher? Yes. Let's revisit it with a dream scenario, but then we really do kill him.
Dude, it's Friday 13th part 2. It's the opening to Friday 13th part 2.
It's beautiful. And like how you hear the cat lapping before you even see it. Like, I just love the way that the scene was set up. But yeah, and then like getting the head delivered to him, like that was just a great introduction to him and like, the situation. But yeah, like that was another one I saw in theaters, and it was awesome. Like, so many things came back to me. Like certain things came back to me and certain things didn't. So it was great kind of like rediscovering parts of this movie. But again, I love the way like the female characters in this, and I love the way the tables get turned once again. Yeah, man, I just thought it was brilliant through and through. I love, like, one of my favorite scenes was the bidding scene when everybody's trying to get those bids in and all the girls are going up. I just love those little bits. I love the whole comprehensive look at the bigger picture and all the elements of this working machine. They had obviously stepped up security. You know what I mean? Security was no joke. So right. Like, I love how the continuity, it felt like, like they didn't miss a beat. So it was so well done.
Hell fucking yeah, man. Missing Link, my brother. Hostel 2. I've already heard you like it better than Hostel 1. Tell me about it, dude.
I think we were talking about a little earlier before the show. It's like the characters are just overall better. Like whether it's like not two sides of the same coin, but it's like you get to see this guy struggle with this, but he ends up being a piece of shit. And then our heroine, our final girl, she turns out she was a fucking wolf in sheep's clothing this entire time, like she was nothing to be fucked with. And just the evolution of those two arcs is like way more interesting than anything going on in the first movie, even though I love the first movie. But that's a big reason why I love the second one. They just did a lot more with the characters. I was really, I'm glad you brought that up. I was very shocked. Like, I was like, so I watched the first one. I was like, all right, the first one, they couldn't really take too many, in terms of it being not as gruesome as I remember. I was like, it's the first one, maybe this was edgy for 2005, but I know the second one is going to be gory as shit. Watched it wasn't, but it was still good, but it was just crazy how, I mean, at the time, this shit was super gory, but it's just crazy how standards have changed since then. I like Stu was saying, the whole networking and them building the world out into exactly how many people are in on this, like the town question Ninja asked earlier. You kind of get to see how, like, some people, I'm sure, they know something, like the guy that got his ass beat when he's like driving his truck and she's running from the guys and she's like, I tried to help you, and you see he got his ass beat. Like, some people are probably aware that some fuck shit goes on, but they're like, I'm going to keep my head down, stay out of it. That is what it is. But they revealed just a lot more as to how it's all operated, because there's, like I said, any questions you had about the first one are certainly answered in this second one, and just better performances, my man. The dude that turns out to be a piece of shit, like, that fucked me up when I first saw that. I was like, you son of a bitch, like, you were so nice, and I was holding out hope that you're gonna help her, and here you are. And even his friend, it was all about the dichotomy, or like the in this movie, it's like people weren't what they seemed, on surface level. Friend was talking a lot of shit, really pumped up for it. As soon as he saw like a little blood, my man's was fucking out,
I love it. So it's so smart, like the way exactly what you're saying, the way they go like the perfect direction with all the characters. Like they start in a really interesting direction to explore the different sides of it, and then the way that they take the arcs of all the characters that matter at the end, it's like it couldn't have been any better than that. It's just so smartly done.
Yeah,
I gotta look at smart was a word. God damn it.
Hey, we understood the word.
Yeah.
It felt good. It felt good.
Yeah, sounded good. Sounded good to me.
Well, one thing that you guys both said, which is just a word that I had wrote down that I don't normally get to write in my notes when I'm talking about horror movies, is world building. It's not a big part of the horror world, and it's something that I love in storytelling. So it's one of the best aspects of this, and the second one obviously does great with that.
So it's about like these rich entitled fucks who are like in there and they're like pushing these boundaries, and like more is more, right, Stuart Gordon? But sometimes more just leads you down this thing where you're just chasing the next high. You got to rise up to killing somebody. And part of the thing is when Stuart, like his whole thing is taking aggression out on his wife because he feels emasculated by her, right? And all this kind of shit. He's talking about Dick Cheney. He's talking about George W. Bush. He's talking about Donald Rumsfeld. 100% is there. If you don't believe me, listen to Eli talk about it, right? So that's there. But then when he got the idea of that theme, he widened the scope. And he goes, no, I want to see it from the killer's perspective, right? I want to see that. But then at the same time, crafting new characters and flipping the script. He got some criticism. He listened to some of his criticism. He did tone down the violence a little bit, right? He did tone down the nudity. But what did he do? He threw a couple penises in there. Well, one of them was being ripped off. That wasn't very sexy. But the first penis we saw was pretty sexy, right?
I love when the guy says, Sasha, no. Don't eat that. No.
So there's that, right? And so he's trying to balance it out there. He puts it from the women's perspective in this one. It's women travelers that are going across Europe. They mirror, kind of like the best friend is kind of like Paxton was in the movie, but Heather couldn't be any like further away from Oli. You know what I'm saying? And the way they do that twist at the end, that's very Wes Craven, where the hero becomes the villain. Because she's got money too. And it's also about like, just like in the first movie, it's about no matter how entitled you are, don't think that you know the other person. Don't think that you know the location you're in, right? And some dudes that think they're like ready to go, like the fucking friend of Stuart. What's his fucking name? It's Todd, right? I remember that dude from 24, dude. So it cracked me up seeing him in this fucking movie, right? But he's golfing when you first see him, right?
He's also in the Friday the 13th remake. He's the cop that gets the.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's very chiseled, handsome man.
So you see the Bushisms in there and all that shit, right? And he figures out he wants to do it from the killer's perspective. He's trying to put more of a highlight on the agency of the viewpoint from the women in the story by switching some of the characters around. But at the same time, even though some of the violence seems toned down, some of the sex seems toned down, brother. That bathtub scene for me is the fucking highlight of the franchise. The bathtub scene
so good
is the most gnarly, transgressive, and subversive, and out there and fucking sexy and wrong scene in the entire franchise, man. Like that scene alone makes up for the fact that they didn't go further in other scenes in the film, right? I fucking love that scene so much. And the fact that it's the character you don't think is going to drop her top.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Dude, it being that actress, which to me is like, I know she's in a bunch of stuff, but she's like, imagine it being Willow from Buffy. It's like doing that with Willow. Like she could have played that role. She's so the last actress in the world that you could imagine doing that to it. You wouldn't normally do it to that character in the movie.
Yeah,
but upside down.
Willow went to band camp.
Yeah,
throw that out there.
Yeah, it's true. Hey,
isn't that Randy's sister from the Scream franchise?
Yeah, oh, it is. You're right. Yeah. They just give me very similar energy, those two. But I agree. I think that's the highlight for me of the movie, and it's just such a unique, cool scene. It's so like, I don't know. It's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch, and the fact that it's a woman doing it to her.
Yeah,
I think that helps make it palpable to a degree. But being upside down, like there's something about that is just so like the fact that it's not sexy. Like sorry to say it, like, it really is like an unattractive look. and I feel bad for her, the actress. I guess they did that in 5-minute intervals for 2 days straight.
Yeah.
They hung her upside down for 5 minutes at a time. But she said she doesn't want to. She said it was a fine experience and she loves her job, but she doesn't want to do horror anymore.
Dude, Eli says that like she was like almost like honored that he wanted her to do the scene where she would be nude, hung upside down, and killed. And he's like, "You want me to be nude?" He's like, "Yeah, why not?" Right? And I love it because Eli's like, the only really sexy bits is when they're drawing people in the beginning of the film, right? Like when dude's there, and then when the chick shows up, right? She's gorgeous. They're both gorgeous, like Italian. There's the Italian fucking thing here. We'll get to that in just a second. I'm running. I'm fucking rambling. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, dude.
But Eli says
got beer to drink, dude.
Yeah, he was like, oh fuck, I lost it. He wanted to do this, that. First of all, there's the Italian. We'll just go back to that until I remember what I'm talking about. There's the Italian vibe to it, right? That scene in the tub, that like I feel like Argento or Fulci or Lamberto would have done that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's totally in their wheelhouse. There's more Italians in this movie. There's Verno, you're well versed in Italian horror now. Do you see the influence here?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, 100%.
In the camera work too, in both of the movies, you see the Argento influence in the Fulci.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how comedic it is. It's playing with things. I love how it's subverting expectations, just like the first one did. We don't expect our main character to turn the way she does at the end. We don't expect the dude from 24 and the Friday the 13th remake to like basically chicken out when he accidentally cuts the woman too
really
far.
Did not expect
like, right? And we're not expecting Stewart to go fucking ham. And the fact that like when he shows up and he's like, I'm going to get you out of here. We are there for it. We think that this is the story.
Right.
And then we realize, no, that's part of his sadistic fucking game. So much that when Todd asked Stewart, do you know what you're going to do? Have you thought about it? And he's like, I don't know. Bro, that motherfucker has thought about this. You know what I'm saying? He's thought about it every fucking night of his life since his marriage turned to shit, in his opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he's going after, right? So I love that. And I love that. I was saying the sexiness is only in that first bit. Oh, here's the thing. This is what I was going to say. Eli Roth in the commentary, one of the fucking like 4 commentaries on here, and he has a commentary on each disc with Quentin, which y'all need to definitely check out.
God, absolutely. Just quit saying it. I'm getting annoyed that I bought the wrong one.
I like to weird stretch, y'all. These are the ones, and I think this one right here is actually difficult to get nowadays. I don't know. But he mentions that, all right, people were criticizing me for all the sex in the first one. But I realized that all I had to do was have beautiful naked bodies. And as long as someone's drawing them, it's art. And it's not like sex and exploitation. So that's actually a point he's trying to make there. And I love it. And I think the ending is super fucking strong. I was blown away by the ending. Like when she's like just pays to fucking kill Stewart. And Stewart's like, he's like, not with your second mortgage and all that fucking shit. Yeah. Just rips his, and dude. You want to talk about, oh, this movie's not as gory as the last one? They rip a fucking dick off, and it's like the most like visceral, like
she's like just the way it's like flopping around. I'm looking at him like, is that what? Yeah, yeah, probably would.
Oh, dude, and that dude who played Stewart, who I believe is in, I think he was in Desperate Housewives, right? But Roger Bart is that dude. He's perfect in that scene, dude. Totally. You feel it 100%.
He's perfect. And oh, you know what, that reminds me to give a shout. We mentioned the Achilles heel cut in the previous movie. The guy's performance during that, like that's one of the better like male screams that you get in horror. I was thinking, you reminded me, that's probably my favorite moment too, Robbie, the upside down bit. So let's go ahead and just do a nice simple, if you guys can think of your favorite moments from the movie, then we'll grade this thing and we'll get up out this bitch. But I'll see what I can come up with at the end. But if I were to pick one, that would have been my favorite. That's the highlight for me. And everything leading up to her being kidnapped is great too. Like I believe that guy. I'm like, no, she'll be fine. Look at him, this husky guy. Yeah, he's a smooth dancer. And then it's like, no, the immediate flip, where it goes to where you think he's still like on her side, then the bag goes over her head. The next time you see him, he's lighting up his cigarette and he's now the villain. And it's like that. Like that's really well.
No ponytail anymore. right?
Yeah, it's really well executed.
He was like a security guard or a stuntman or an extra on the first movie, and so Eli actually wrote that part for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Oh,
cool.
that's dope.
He's always stood out to me. It just you don't get to see a lot of big men like that in film. That I don't know in that role. It was cool. But Stu, my brother, do you have a favorite moment, or really, brother, if you had anything else you want to take it, anything else you want to say on the whole movie at all?
I don't know about favorite moment, but the scene with the group of kids, the group of kids was, I guess, the bubblegum kids as they're credited in the after movie credits. But yeah, dude,
Terrifying.
like that scene with the man where he makes him choose one, like that was crazy. And I love like him going kid to kid with the gun in their face, and
Right.
like that was just so beautiful how authentic and real it felt. I love that scene. It was
You ever
just
think
one
you
of
string
those.
those two sentences together. That
It
scene
was-
with the kid and the gun, to the
Right,
face.
but it
Beautiful.
was spellbinding, man. I was watching that one, definitely got my attention. I was like, and it was just over. You're just like, man, what the fuck was that?
I know.
It's crazy and kind of out of left field, but at the same time, it really works. And just like how it really brings home like the lawlessness and what these kids are like in the end too, when homegirl gets her head cut off and they're playing soccer with it.
Oh,
Like
God, yeah.
joyfully playing soccer with it. But yeah, the
What'd
kids
she
are
say?
the kids are the star of the show for sure for me.
What's that?
Before she cut her head off, like she said, "Vodka." Would
Oh,
you
I
say
don't
to
know,
her?
yeah.
She
She
said
says
something
Niet,
really catchy.
yeah, she
I
does.
don't know.
Yeah,
And one of the
yeah.
things, Eli didn't put subtitles on the foreign language because he wanted you to feel
Right.
like just like they did, like, oh, I don't know what.
Confused.
And they're like, God, to go back to the whole pretentious natures of Americans, like in general, and especially overseas, is when they're showing the movie on the screen and they're like, how are we supposed to understand if it's not in English? Bro, you're in Slovakia.
Right. Yeah, I know. I thought that too.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
It's embarrassing. Like, oh God, would you shut the fuck up?
And the kids are great too, because that's another bit that Eli Roth found out that's a real fucking thing.
Hmm.
Like gangs of kids in Eastern Europe that don't give a fuck. They will literally kill you for bubblegum. Like,
It's terrifying. I
that's
love that they
terrifying.
got the same, at least one of the same kids. Like the lead kid is the same in both
Yeah.
movies because he's got a
He
good
throws
look.
this
too.
dude under the bus so bad in part 2, man.
I love that
Man.
he rips his hat off. I assume because he's like, I'm gonna take his hat in case this guy's gonna fuck it up, and he throws him out there after he rips his hat off. It's like, oh, cold.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I love them in both the first and the second one. That was a great recurring character, them as a whole. But I don't know. Besides those two, there's so many. Of course, like the upside down scene was crazy. Yeah, the gore was a little bit dialed back. I would say, but it's still we still had
Until they ripped the dick off.
Yeah,
right?
right.
But did you
For sure.
find yourself being like, oh God,
No,
where's
not
the
at all.
violence?
Because like it was so cool getting to learn, like getting to know these characters, seeing like how the whole town was like had become a whole town operation now. And
Mhm.
yeah, and just like I love like Robbie said, seeing it from the killer's point of view and all that. It was great. There was so many great spots they hit on. So I was never left like wanting for anything really in this one. I think it was always fresh and moved at a great pace.
And what about old dude from Goblet of Fire, right? Like, I
Yeah.
love that you think he's part of it, right? The dude that's hooking up with the best friend, right? And you think he's part of it. Then you see him. He's the one that dude is eating.
Oh,
That's a gnarly bit too. If you really look at that scene, right? Like
his leg.
his
Yeah.
leg and like he's just cutting pieces off him and eat. Dude, that's terrifying.
That
I
is
love
that's
that
a
you
great
just said
scene.
that's the guy from Goblet of Fire because that was one of those things that was in the back of my head. Like, oh, fucking guy looks like the guy from Harry Potter.
What is it?
But as
Like
soon as you
Victor
said,
or
I'm like,
something
oh,
like
it
that?
is.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Victor or something
Same
like
guy.
that?
Victor.
It's like the
Yeah,
same year.
totally.
He looks exactly the same too.
I'm all like, dude, in this movie, Hermione's got a thing for him too.
Oh, you made me think of something, Stu. Oh, I was gonna say something. It was brilliant. It's gonna make me look cool and smart. No, but it's gone.
Stop thinking about it. You'll think about it.
I
That's
know.
what I did.
There you go. Steph, favorite moments or just anything you wanna add?
Favorite moment. So there were some great moments. I do think like the cinematography was better in this one. They're like when they were at the festival, or when she's like in the pool, and then like when she wakes up and like No one
Yeah.
like confused. Like that whole scene. I think there's like many more shots that were visually appealing in this one. Favorite moment, I will say, I love the whole. She's been a fucking wolf in sheep's clothing the entire time, where she bossed up on him. It was like, I'm buying my way out of this bitch, And even she didn't want to go get that dark, Even up to the last moment, she's like up there trying to think of how to get out of this, but he's still jabbing at the fucking mouth, And so it was really him that made her make that final decision. She might have paid for both of them to get out of there, She had bread. They might have not let that play out, but she didn't want to unleash the beast, but when she did, she's like, I tried, bro. Let him bleed out. Feed it to the dogs. That was I like that turn. Very boss.
Dogs ate the shit out of it. That dude's like, no.
I God, no.
You're gonna shit tonight, man. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah. God. I think we already mentioned it, but I feel like it was in the previews. The guy that we've been mentioning this whole time from Friday the 13th and the other things, the really handsome guy, the bit where he's in there like taunting her and he's so gleeful about it. And that's one thing about this movie, or the second one over the first one. It's way funnier. Like they really lean into the comedy of it and they nail the comedy. And he is a huge reason why. Like he's a hysterical character.
That's what it was. The dude and Jay Hernandez, the dude in the first one that Jay Hernandez is talking to, like the other guy, he's like, oh, dude, like what should I do it quick? Should I do it fucking slow?
Yeah.
I'm watching with my girlfriend. She got addicted to that fucking show Suits on Netflix or whatever the fuck. And I'm watching it one day with her and I'm like, this dude is so fucking familiar to me. Who is it? It's the dude from fucking Hostel, right? But somebody, I don't remember who, but when Eli's trying to figure out where he's going to go with Hostel 2, somebody says, I want to know that guy's story.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You just made me think of something that I'm really glad. I had it written down on my notes with like 7 stars next to it. The main character in the second one, the boss bitch at the end that turns out to be rich and she can buy Slovakia. She's the girl at the beginning of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 that kills herself in the car. That's her. I'm looking at stuff this whole time, waiting for your reaction. I know. I'm like, no way. Is that really her? I looked it up, and that's actually why he hired her. He saw that performance, and I don't know how he saw this in that performance. He's like, I need someone that can be very vulnerable and someone that can go through the shit, but can also be super strong at when needed to be. But interesting, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. 100%.
That's what I wrote. That
she's unrecognizable almost in that role, right?
Yeah.
Laura German is her name, or
Yep. Laura German. She plays Beth, and
they actually desexify her a little bit in this movie, I think, too.
Oh,
Obviously, they did that in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2006 as well.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they definitely don't make her like and purposefully done. None of the girls are overly sexed up, but
the friend is, man. Come on, brother. Let's be honest.
Well, she is.
What's her name?
She's just
Phillips.
She's just sexy.
Well, that's Nora Reese's wife or something.
Oh, what's his name? Masterson, the guy from that 70s show that's in jail. That's his wife. Yeah, the really hot one.
Oh, that's his wife.
That's his wife.
That means she's available. Yo, come and teach me how to say your name right.
She is gorgeous. She is the best looking one, but for as hot as she is, they don't like.
I don't know. You seem pretty hot for Richard Burgi, man.
Which one?
You were like the handsome one.
Oh, he's so good looking. Oh, he's ridiculously chiseled.
He looks good when he's swinging that golf club, man. I'm not even lying.
He looked good with Jason Voorhees poking that thing through his eyeball. I ain't lying. That's like my favorite kill from that movie. But all right, man. Fantastic. So let's go ahead. We'll go around. We're gonna rate this thing. We're gonna get up out this bitch.
That will be quite enough of that.